Hello, dear YouTube viewers. Today is November 3rd, 2018, and our topic is roughly around how to deal with the organic portals, or as you call them now, NPCs, non-player characters. So, what I say, don't take it to the bank. Just listen it, and if correspondence with your previous knowledge, you're gonna be using it in the future. A reminder for the trolls: leave a comment, you're gonna be blocked. 80% of the people trying to come to me are trolls in different stages of development. So this topic actually begins with this pot. I have it since 2008 when I bought the whole set. It was with me on many campings. It was with me in Southeast Asia. Came with the whole set back home. And now I'm just gonna talk to you from my experience how you deal with, if you, even if you don't believe in organic portals, simply how do you deal with the people who are on the lower level of the consciousness, what is working and what is not working. Things from my own experience, that's it. So thing is, more than a year ago I noticed that my mother, during cleaning my room, simply took my stuff in the kitchen, and I tried to locate. I was locating bits and parts throughout a few days. It was always very tense situation with her. You never know what's gonna upset her. It's eggshell walking art. But it's difficult to walk if like miles around you have nothing but the eggshells and you need to step somewhere. So I managed to locate most of the set, but not the lid. And I was afraid to ask for a lid because I didn't want to have 3-4 days of drama. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna drop the topic and try to find it on my own, but I didn't. So, as you say, okay, it's a petty thing, it's a lid. Really, why to make a drama? And I wasn't. No, nor I'm making it now. Thing is, it's one of many things which disappeared. Mini DV tape collection with most of my life there, and some things I really wanted to upload on YouTube now. Things filmed 10, 15 years ago, important things, gone forever. Toy collection, Matchbox soldiers, hundreds of them. Even with some collector's value, actually, gone. Um, Discovery of World, hardcover comics from the 80s, collectible item here. Most of the collection, actually everything was gone. Thrown into garbage. And let's go on. So, how to deal with a person who's acting as I noticed many people do. Okay, let's go through the definition of schizophrenia. Disconnected talk. How many normal people you know which simply cannot stay on a topic more than 5 minutes? Well, schizophrenics are just extreme of that normality. Second thing, outbursts of anger. How many people you know, especially now in social justice warrior times, which can simply keep calm and disagree with you and agree that they disagree? Not that many. Disconnected speech, bursts of anger, gaps in the memory. Uh, that's another thing I discovered with her: bursts of anger and nothing in the memory later on. I'll give you another example. Cambodia. I lived with the side by side. I rented the same house. Links here. One side was me and my cat Mango. Another side, unfortunately, brothel, which I thought it's a massage salon when I was renting the house. Well, now I know that absolutely every massage salon in Cambodia and maybe in Southeast Asia is always a brothel, nothing else. So, but thing is, I'll give you an example. I had a huge issue with the garbage they've been throwing in the backyard because of the climate and diseases and so on. And after 11 months, I managed to not only clean it all and maintain it, but also to explain prostitutes why it's bad when it's dirty, and all of them accepted apart from one, which was actually very stupid even for the Khmer standards. and IQ there is 64, below 70 is medical idiot. So she was even very stupid for that kind of level. Very stupid young girl with a very small baby, poor family, and so on. She was prostituting herself in a small cubicle there. So she was the first one who would start throwing garbage, leftovers of meal in plastic bags, and then flies would come and so on, and then others would start throwing rags, the pluggings for ladies and diapers and stuff like that. So one day I came to her with the garbage, and I showed her with her hands that I'm gonna pour everything on her head if she doesn't stop it, and she stopped it. And then I realized that there are simply people with whom you can reason, and simply people with whom you can't. So with those people with whom you simply can't reason, you must use power, because this is the only thing they understand. And unless you use some sort of pressure, physical dominance, they're not gonna get it, simply because they do not have abilities of understanding things reasonably. I tried it many decades of my life. You can also do your best. The nice words, being politically correct, being racially correct, it doesn't work. Um, okay, let's put that aside. What is the second thing with the organic portals? What is the second thing which is always repeating? Now let's exit the business life. Now you're out of your house. Now you simply need to deal with them in your place of work. So I'll ask you a question. I'm sure you're gonna get it very quickly. You know the typical situation. You work with them. You're nice to them. In the beginning, they're also nice. Then they ask you for a beer. Let's suppose that you are non-alcoholic, that you never take a beer in your life because it's just shitty heavy drug. So I say no, because if I go with them, I'll be fucking bored and tired. So I just find excuse. I say no. If four workers are going to have a glass of beer, what they always do in a pub after work, well, not glass, they're getting drunk. About whom they're gonna talk if you're not there? They're gonna talk about you. And after some time, they're gonna spread negativity. It's gonna come to your boss, and most of the bosses, maybe you know this from management, maybe you don't, but most of the bosses work in a certain system. 10% of people need to be fired every quarter, every it would be like 3 months. That's like excellent if company can afford it. 10% getting fired, and more than 10% getting hired. And this way you get rid of the shit, and you also keep other people on toes. So if boss is hearing negative stuff about you, who's gonna be fired in the next firing wave? Because that's what they do. It's basics of management. You need to do that. It's gonna be you. So why these two things are connected? Well, how to deal with organic portals? Well, this is what I learned. If you don't have a power over them, they're gonna misuse power against you. And because they're part of the matrix, in a matrix, they are more powerful. So if they are more powerful, you're just gonna suffer. Many, the Chinese death of many small things going disappearing. So you're never sure what's gonna be next. Outbursts of anger, item missing, changed memory, accusations. You don't know. When you're working with them, you do your maximum, you're cooperative, but you again get stabbed. But this is how you can minimize it. Okay, so there is no way around totally, right? If you manage to find it out, give me a link. I'm talking this matrix. As long as we live with them, we're gonna suffer. But the thing how you can actually minimize this suffering is a, be conscious with whom you're dealing with. B, give the minimum possible information. especially about yourself. Minimum possible. Every information they have on you, they're gonna use it against you. More they know about you, longer they have stick to beat you with. That's how it is. Third thing is keep it stupid and simple. Minimize all contacts. Problems simply occur because you're simply forced to spend lots of time with them. More time with them is like spending more time with the leprosy, with people who have a skin disease. You're just gonna contract it. So try to plan your activities nice, quick, decisive, and just get out of the story. When they start hitting you, try simply to observe the game without entering the game. Try to observe what's going on, simply knowing that you are dealing with the computer generated characters, that you are dealing with the pieces of meat without any soul inside. It's just body, mechanism, biological robot, DNA's information. That robot can perfectly work without anybody inside of him. Perfectly fine artificial intelligence to operate it. 50, I think 50 kilobytes per second data transfer through the brain. It's not that complicated system to run. It's worked. It's working. So just know that. Second thing is, as I said, minimize the contact. Third thing is, what I said before. Always try to maintain position of power, because if you don't have power, they do, and if they do, they're just gonna hurt you. If you do have power, you're not gonna hurt them. It's gonna be better for everybody. But it's not your matrix. It's evil one. Another thing is be very, very careful with your creativity, with showing creativity. That's what they absolutely hate. And initiative. And I'm just gonna give you like a little example for a management. Let's say it's a typical situation. You are at a meeting. Now I'm going through a story in my head. It's a Banlung tribal school, and a long time ago it was intuitively coming to my mind that we should advertise school on a radio, because many people in the area are illiterate, and they don't read newspapers, but they receive lots of information through radio. I noticed that. I live among them. I don't talk to them, but I can still see them and understand them. And this was coming to my mind. Another thing which was coming to my mind was that because we all suffer there from infectious diseases, I had a problem with the eyes caused by the flies, and then open sewage and closed sewage, and then animals all around. So it's very dirty. It's actually filthy. That we should, as a school, maybe even try to educate people about bacteria and viruses, because of course they don't know about these things. You might laugh, but knowledge that kind of type saves life, because people then know why they need to wash hands, for example, and wash hands before preparing a meal. Once or twice per week I had E. coli diarrhea, that type. So I started to teach my students about that, show them pictures of bacteria, explain how they work. They were very grateful. Now they understood why they need to wash their hands. It was not part of the curriculum, but I done it because it was important for them. They don't have these things in a school at all. Okay, what is your school system? This is their school system. Okay, math and Khmer in primary school, and secondary school only English. That's it. That means educate. Nobody ever heard about biology, chemistry, this kind of stuff, unless they're studying in a Phnom Penh. And this also a joke. That's joke. So, stay with me on this one. So I was thinking about that, and then boss comes and said, "Guys, listen, we have a problem. There is a new school in town. They're taking all our teachers, their students, what to do." I raise hand, boss. We should do this our radio show. You have another white guy, me and you. We could talk about many different topics and immediately advertise the school. Excellent radio, thank you. What else do you have? Well, I have about information point in the center of a town. Yeah, I can afford it. Excellent, Kruno, very good. What else do you have? A few other advices, like posters, billboards they have there. He has the money, he simply didn't have idea. What happened after that? What normally happens when you give idea to the boss? There are two kinds of bosses, and with this I'm gonna finish. Thank you for staying with me almost 15 minutes. There are two kinds of bosses. There are great leaders and there are all others. Great leaders, when a group needs an idea, they're gonna listen what group has to say, and if somebody has idea initiative, they're gonna help out that person because it's for the benefit of the group. So if 80% of organic portals, 20% sold ones, what do you think what your boss gonna be? If 5% people are psychopaths and 25% managers are psychopaths, what are the owners? Okay, so only great leaders gonna tolerate your idea. All other leaders gonna fire you, gonna take your ideas, and in my case, because this was the Asian way of management, um, they mob you, then they fire you, then they put you in a blacklist for a month, then they call you back to the work. This way they show you who's more dominant. And this actually happened to me. He called me for a job. I didn't buy that thing because I already bought it before. Same treatment in Bangkok. So I know it's the same everywhere, but my idea for the business is if you're working, rule number one, do not ever give fucking good ideas. They're gonna bury you. Second thing is, what I noticed, what's the problem with us? Uh, we tend to be good workers. We tend to, be creative also. Conscious come before the job, leave after, put extra effort. This is very big problem. You need to also learn from organic portals. Apart from never giving ideas, second thing is never do anything which is more than average job. Consciously control yourself to work slightly below average if it is possible. Not shitty job, because then you're gonna be targeted for being fired, but slightly below average because then you're not a threat to anybody and you're valuable just barely enough to stay there, which is excellent because if you're not threat to anybody, then people hate you less. Especially, I mean, maybe looks contra intuitively, but your boss actually hates more competitive workers than the lazy ones because competitive workers are a threat to him. Reptilian brain, territory, hunting, feeding, fucking, attacking, defending. So you're not threat to his reptilian brain and what else he uses to think in his life, plus some emotions, a little bit of logic. So that's my advice for work. Less is more. And these are my meditations on how to deal with them. Thank you for watching and take care.